A young woman met a virtual boyfriend online, and after a month of dating, she ended up getting pregnant. She thought the two would spend their lives together, but she was cruelly abandoned by the man. With no alternatives and pregnant, she began begging on the streets until a kind soul, moved by her situation, contacted a local news team. During the interview, we found out that the young woman's name is Zhou Ying, from Xinyu, in Jiangxi province. According to her, she met the father of the baby online, where she was attracted to a man who used the nickname Nanao. Over time, both began to develop feelings for each other. His sweet words and care quickly won Zhou Ying's heart. Shortly after they officially started dating, they planned to meet in person in Nanchang. One of the biggest fears of online relationships is the disappointment of someone's real appearance. But to Zhou Ying's surprise, she became even more enchanted when she saw him in person. His real name is Wu Qifeng, from Yugong County, also in Jiangxi. Since they were both happy with the meeting, they decided to live together. But because Wu didn't have a steady job, all the expenses fell on Zhou Ying, and within less than a month, the 10,000 yuan she had brought with her was gone. When he found out she no longer had money, Wu showed his true face. He ended the relationship without mercy, and even had the audacity to say he was just having fun and that if she believed it, the problem was hers. Zhou Ying was already emotionally involved. She begged and humbled herself, but he was determined. With no other options, she accepted the end of the relationship. Soon after, however, she found out she was pregnant. She felt hopeful that maybe they could get back together, but she was completely out of money. With no way out, she told her ex about the pregnancy. Surprisingly, he reacted well. He said he wanted to get back together, promised to take care of her and the baby. However, this false attention only lasted a few months. When Zhou Ying was in her 8th month of pregnancy, he revealed his true intention. Have the baby, then we'll sell it to someone. That way we'll make some money. At that moment, Zhou Ying finally saw who he really was. With the baby already 8 months along, she could no longer terminate the pregnancy. It would be dangerous for her life. But she also couldn't afford to raise a child, let alone two, since tests showed she was expecting twins. The journalist then took her to the hospital for tests. With the results, the situation got worse. Raising one baby would be difficult, two would be impossible. Faced with this, they decided to seek out Wu's family. When they arrived, his mother avoided the reporter's questions and even disappeared. With no other option, Zhou Ying stood outside the family shop with a sign telling her story. The act quickly drew the attention of the neighbors. Fearing the scandal, Wu's parents pulled her inside the store to discuss things. Wu's father accused Zhou Ying of being a scammer and claimed she was already married with a daughter when she started the affair with Wu. In response to the accusations, Zhou Ying explained that from the beginning, she had told Wu about her situation, and he had accepted it. Now she had nothing left, no money, no family, and just wanted a fair answer. She revealed that, just 2 weeks prior, Wu had still asked her for money. Even with nothing, she had saved from her own food, eating rice with vegetables and no oil for 15 days, and managed to gather 100 yuan to send to him. All this effort only led to more rejection. And now, she was also being mistreated by his parents, who used harsh words against her. With no other alternative, she sought help from the Women's Federation. At the mediation meeting, Wu's parents didn't show up. Only his uncle was present. He said that if Zhou Ying aborted, the family could help her with 15,000 yuan as compensation. But if she insisted on keeping the babies, they wouldn't help at all. Zhou Ying refused. Terminating the pregnancy at 8 months would be dangerous for both her and the babies. The conversation ended without an agreement. Desperate, Zhou Ying had an emotional breakdown and threatened to take her own life. The reason, a threatening message sent by Wu, filled with cruelty. The memories of the affectionate moments and promises of love only made everything more painful. What began with passion now resulted in a tragedy. Unable to contact Wu, she thought of her ex-husband. Maybe he could help her. To her surprise, the ex didn't react with anger, but imposed a condition. He would only accept her back if she aborted the children of another man. It was then that we learned more about the story. Zhou Ying had no attachment to her ex-husband. They married through an arrangement between families, with a dowry of 30,000 yuan. He was older, and they never had a connection. After giving birth to a daughter, Zhou Ying left the household. When she asked for a divorce, her mother-in-law demanded the return of the 30,000 yuan dowry. The argument only ended when the couple's daughter appeared. The little girl, only 3 years old, was the one who suffered the most from all of this. After the divorce, the father could start a new life. The mother was about to have children with another man. And the child, what fault did she have? Zhou Ying continued her journey alone. When asked why she didn't go back to her parents' house, she answered sadly. Her family was poor, her father had passed away years ago, and her mother supported 4 children on her own. To ease the finances, her mother had married her off with the 30,000 yuan dowry. Even so, Zhou Ying didn't want to bring more problems to the household. But with no options, she decided to return. When she arrived, her mother refused to take her in. She said they didn't even have enough to eat and still needed to pay for her younger siblings' school fees. Taking in a pregnant daughter with twins was unthinkable. Zhou Ying then begged for a place to stay and some support. She said she would sew to survive, that she would do whatever it took to not be a burden. With that, her mother relented. At the end of the report, Zhou Ying expressed her regret. She said she had thrown away a marriage, even though there was no love, and destroyed a family because of an impulse. In the end, she was abandoned by an online scammer. She may seem like a victim, but the ones who suffered the most were her young daughter and the twins yet to be born. For a moment of desire, an irreparable pain was created. In the heat of the moment, she hurt innocent lives. Online relationships require caution. While you're in love, he might be deceiving you.
Well, it seems like this woman's story clearly shows us the weight of making the wrong choices. She entered into a relationship where, deep down, she knew it wasn't what she wanted, but she believed it could work out. She made too many concessions, ignored the red flags, thought she could change the guy, or that everything would fall into place in the future. But real life doesn't work that way. And now, here she is, facing the consequences. The truth is that, no matter how much we try to justify certain mistakes, there are times when we just can't pretend we didn't see the signs. And what remains is this bitter feeling that she gambled on the wrong choices and lost. The problem is that this type of story is not an exception. It's almost a pattern. And it's not just in China. In the West, it's becoming almost an epidemic. A woman gets involved with a problematic guy. A bad boy gives herself to him, gets pregnant, and then is abandoned. Then, years later, when things get tough, she decides to look for a real man. And the real man, in this repeated script, is the stable, hardworking, kind guy who spent his youth being ignored and now serves as plan B. Worse, this guy often accepts. He takes on another man's child, pays for everything, tries to provide structure for someone who didn't choose him when he had something to offer, but instead chose him when she no longer had many options left. And you know what happens? This guy is often praised for being understanding, for being mature, when, in reality, he's being used. It's as if there's a queue where wrong choices are rewarded with a second chance, at the expense of those who've always done things right. The woman in this story, she lived that exact script. She followed emotion, impulsiveness, made bad choices, and now tries to fix everything based on what's left. But life doesn't have a restart button. The choices we make today shape what we'll have tomorrow, and we can't escape that. And before anyone says, "Oh, but everyone deserves a second chance," yes, it's true, but not at the expense of others. Not by turning yesterday's mistakes into someone innocent's responsibility. Not by putting the burden of a poorly lived past on the shoulders of those who were never part of the mess. And the most curious thing, this type of woman still sees herself as the victim. She did everything wrong, ignored the advice, fell for the bad boy's trick, and now it's society. Decent men who have to fix the damage. There's something really twisted about this logic. And what's most concerning is that many people are jumping on board without thinking twice. So here's the message. If you're a man, be careful not to become someone else's plan B. Be smart, look at the history before getting involved. And if you're a woman, stop romanticizing bad choices thinking that in the end, a savior will appear. Because sometimes they don't, and sometimes they shouldn't. If you like this video and want to see more stories and reflections like this, subscribe to the channel and share your point of view on this topic in the comments with everyone. See you in the next video.